Great.
Well, my question was just understanding what level of communication you'd like to have with member comments, suggestions, feedback. I received one of the nicest complaint letters I've ever received this morning. It was very well thought out and kind and spot on about regarding Thanksgiving. I received half a dozen or so complimentary and nice letters thanking and talking about it was a great experience, but it just kind of summarizes what we were talking about and reiterates the operational structure of that kind of performance and the age of our membership and how incompatible it was to have 130 people standing in line.
Yeah.
For a single seating.
Yeah.
And they suffered the consequences of it, even though they had a nice time. And she mentioned the manager coming over and helping resolve the issues, which was me. I just met her. And she didn't know it was me. We had never met before, but it was just a spot on, very well thought out. And it opened with, this is the first, I've been a resident for more than 10 years, and this is the first time I've ever written a letter to the club.
Okay.
So.
I think it's always good when people are willing to share, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you don't hear, it's not good.
Very kind, super, super nice and kind and sweet.
Good.
And if I say the name, you'll probably all know the name, because they've been here for a long time.
Okay. Good. So in terms of, Greg and I have been talking over the last, every day, for the last, how many days are you now, 30?
32. I started on November 6th.
Thank you for still being
So Greg has a Jonas training, right, from 10 to 12?
10 to 12 today, every day this week, 10
So-
to 12.
Right, so we can catch some of the River Club report after that.
Okay.
Unless you want to just, if there's anything you wanted to go through now this morning. I mean, in my head, I was thinking, if you want to talk at all about any of the Jonas stuff, or you're getting a lot of feedback on the Tiki, those are sort of the hot items on my docket.
Sure, let me kind of summarize 2 or 3 things that have we've progressed on since last month when we met. I'll start first with some of the hiring platform situation. We have 3 new hourly employees in the front of the house, which will be very beneficial. One of them is a young lady named Alexandra. She's at the front desk today. She will help with reception. She will help with bartending and serving. Another young lady's name is Randy. And another young man is Jordan. The chef was able to secure, over just this last week, we had 3 new line cooks start, which will be very beneficial. Tim, Tom, and Mike, all experienced, know what they're doing. I hired a facilities maintenance. I didn't want to start off as the director title, so he's really just going to be a facilities maintenance supervisor. And he has worked about the last 10 years for the city of Venice, and he's a supervisor on the maintenance team. But one of the things, even though he's got the experience with plumbing and HVAC and electrical and cleaning and coordinating vendors and contractors, the thing I like best about him is his personality. And he's got a wife and 2 kids, and he lives locally.
Oh, great.
So his name is Raymond. Of course, I'm going to forget his last name, but he goes by Ray.
Okay.
And he starts next Monday. So
Great.
you guys will see Ray on the property,
Awesome.
working on windows and cleaning and helping coordinate
Oh, great.
some of the vendors and plumbers. Some of the issues that have come up over the last month. Hopefully the communication was good about the gas line leak.
Yes.
Everybody-
Phenomenal.
Thank you, good. It was, 2 days before Thanksgiving to find out you're gonna lose the heat in your pool for 6 days.
Mhm.
Caught us off guard a little bit, but that I didn't really have anybody that expressed anything other than, thanks for letting us know what's going on. So that was refreshing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The plumbing issue, we've got 2 different people working on some plumbing issues that have been going on with the leaks.
Mhm.
We actually think that one of the slow leaks might even be the water usage that the under tennis court valves requires, surprisingly. So they're gonna monitor it. They still think it's a leak, but they're not certain, because what happens is it works like the float in your toilet.
Right.
So when the courts start to dry out a little bit, it automatically turns on and trickles water, which looks very much like a leak.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So trying to determine whether it's the amount of water flow to sufficiently keep the clay moist
Right.
versus a leak is the focus that we're looking at now for that particular leak. And then we'll have to probably sidebar, and I need to talk to Keith about the juniper and the landscape head and really dig to the bottom of that. Juniper doesn't think that that's the head that leaks, but we will have to research more and figure out.
He'll be out there today.
So good. It's an active thing over the last, and I gotta give kudos to Keith and Juniper. Juniper came in and did a landscaping job on our front and our back and everywhere around the facility. That was surprisingly very, very good. They were here for 3 days and took away 2 huge loads of excess growth. So kudos to Juniper. And is his name Bill?
Go get it.
Yeah, Bill did a really nice job with his team. I have John Coleman on site for a few days to help with some IT things. And then the last thing I'll summarize is what we have going on this week. Hampton has made a large investment. As you know, we have a bunch of new people and department heads, whether it's our membership director or our food and beverage director or our tennis professional, or I wish, well, he's not really gonna have to use Jonas much, myself. We are going to have online platform training with Jonas. It's a very expensive training program. They're doing it 5 days this week. We purchased a total of 12 hours of staff training to work on different platforms like dining reservations, event reservations, tennis court reservations, lap pool reservations, to help funnel in and sort of control the flow of things like the ball machine. And there'll be a specific tab and button for the ball machine versus the tennis courts versus the pickleball courts. Same thing with the lap pools.
Great. I did ask Greg to check in with Jonas to see what we can do about possibly getting iPads for class registration and the lap lane registration, just to make it a little bit more efficient so we don't have to have those hard copies of paper out there with people checking in. Don't know if it's feasible. He's going to check with them and see what, from a technological perspective, needs to happen.
And what I thought about too, rather than the iPad that is susceptible to walking out the door,
Yeah,
we might just do a PC monitor.
that too. Yes, a touch screen.
Much, yeah,
Yes.
touchscreen, much
Yeah.
harder to get in the pocket.
Perfect. Be like checking in for your hotel room.
Yeah, like you check in for your hotel room, exactly.
kiosk.
Yeah.
So make it a little bit more
Just a
efficient.
monitor there that's a touchscreen. They won't have access to do any adjustments and changes. But then it's really easy to change reservation times when it comes to the changes in daylight.
Well, we're talking about Jonas. I was talking to Greg yesterday, so Greg wants some clarification. I guess he showed me a report and I said, can I have a copy of that? And he wasn't sure if he should give it to us, because he got burned in the last position. So he just wants some guidance on what we're allowed to see and have or ask for, from a board perspective. So,
Yeah.
and I said, don't just send it to me. I said, that's something we should all have it.
Yeah, and maybe you all chime in, I think, but especially because of sunshine law, although it probably at times can create more work for you, I think all of us are a believer that there has to be 100% transparency between all 5 of us, or stuff goes off the rails.
So the question,
Immediately.
100%. So what I said to Rich was, tell me what reports you want. I'll print them all and more.
Right.
But rather than send them out electronically, I prefer you come in and either I'll give you the paper or we can review the paper together.
Yeah.
Just so it didn't go out electronically, because it's really all the financial information. And one of the things that I'm most hesitant about, not just confidentiality and who gets the reports when it's in an email and how many people are copied in, but the accuracy of the reports, I had zero confidence. And I prefaced my meeting with Rich saying,
Well,
Because that is a challenge. That
No,
is a
we don't
challenge,
agree with
right?
that.
So,
But my point is, I don't want paper, because I can't do, paper means I have to scan it and it screws up. And if you want to start doing additions and changes and look at things and modify stuff, you can't.
I mean, at the end of the day, just for sunshine purposes, whether it's a piece of paper or whether it's electronic, I don't think there's any distinction under the sunshine law. It becomes a public document.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
okay. And I'll just put a disclaimer on there, I'm not representing the accuracy of this.
Sure,
data.
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think we all know that now.
I
Yeah,
mean,
we all know
just slap
that.
draft on there and then we
Right.
know.
And
Yeah.
and the other
Yeah.
question I have is, I don't know if there were reports that, there's a lot of things in Jonas that we don't have access to. I don't know if we want to continue to have access to stuff. Like, there's a lot of reports that we can't run reports for 95% of the stuff. We don't have,
Well, one thing that would worry me about that is if, the accuracy question, am I, because
If you pull it
if I
incorrectly,
pull it
you're
incorrectly,
gonna, that is a,
and so that's where, I hear what you're saying. I actually would probably prefer to avoid it for myself, but I think, comme vous voulez, as they say en France,
Yeah, because like I said, I mean, and I don't want to have access to the system where I can actually change anything, which I know complicates,
You
which
shouldn't.
complicates,
You shouldn't,
yeah, which complicates access to some reports. So if you could just ask Jonas, if we can have, and then I can say we can do this, but just ask the question, can we get access to more reports, but not have access to change any data whatsoever? I do not want that.
they're not even modifying
Yeah.
how the report is run, like.
Well, no, you cannot if I have reports run, because, I mean, you can't, because you can change
Well,
the dates.
A date range and stuff, but I'm saying like selecting fields and selecting,
Right.
there's stuff that you could pull that he might know that is not a good field to pull, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This used to happen to me all the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
If-
amen.
I would
Yeah.
prefer you
Yeah.
run the reports
I don't have any
Okay,
trouble.
and
okay,
then
if
give
you,
them to us.
okay, yeah, that's fine.
And you can come in and see me and we can do the same
That's
thing.
fine.
I wonder how many different reports did I give you yesterday?
Quite a few.
Like,
Yeah, that's fine. As long as you don't mind pulling, I just thought it'd be easier for you not, okay, that's fine.
no, and I don't mind helping with doing that. And
Okay.
there is a way to set parameters and permissions on the backside of the admin. But it gets a little bit complicated and convoluted. Here's what I'd suggest is give me until January 1st. And come January 1st, we will go through
That's fine.
each, the way it kind of works is each sales item is set up first under a category and then under an area. And if they're programmed into the system initially, it doesn't care if you put hot dog or Dom Perignon on an item. It's gonna go to whatever category or area that it's programmed later on in the, so when you run your report at 6 months later,
Okay,
it just it just
When you
shows.
say area, you mean of the physical facility?
Well, that's what the moniker or the name classification on Jonas is. It'll say sales category, liquor, beer, food, wine, supplies. That's the category. And then the area will say La Sala, Tiki, dining. So if any of those are not properly put on the item,
Yeah,
and again, the item is only recognized on a report by a number. You can, as long as whatever that number is, you can write Mickey Mouse
Mhm.
and it's gonna come up as that
It needs to
number.
have a unique identifier, and that numerical
Okay.
value is the unique
I
That's
got
identifier.
it.
exactly
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's a better way
Thank
to say
you.
it than.
Yeah.
yeah. No, but that makes perfect sense. It does, it makes perfect sense. Oh, interesting.
It doesn't matter what the text is, it's all about the number. And that's why, for example, when you wanna have, let's say your member event, special events. I've seen oftentimes where clubs will take the same item number and it'll be $42, it'll go to the right printer, and it'll have the right service charge attached to it. And rather than create a new button or a new item number, they'll just clear out Thanksgiving and then type in brunch with Santa. And then when it's time for Easter, they'll just clear out brunch with Santa and type Easter. And then when you run a report at the end of the year, they're all, everything's under one number.
Right.
Right.
So you can't tell what you did on Thanksgiving or brunch with Santa or Easter.
So it doesn't have the time stamp parameter on there that then would break it out because it's all driven based on that same number.
That's right.
And that's the same situation if you change a food
Right.
item in a category.
Right.
Whatever category it is at that point in time is the category that's gonna show up from a historical
On a
perspective.
report.
On a
When you're trying-
report,
When
on a
you're trying to
report,
look at
yes.
what your gross
Yes,
revenue for a year, it just all gets lumped in
Right, yeah.
based on the numbers.
And this is what, you and I talked about this, what worries me about any reports I've seen run and, people anybody trying to interpret it makes it very thorny. Because I think I told you, this coming from the drug industry, I automatically distrust any data I'm reading until I know what's behind it.
That's right.
So,
For that reason, that's why I want you to run the reports and send them to all 5 of us. So A, we all have the information, and B, we have the same information.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And knowing that you guys know the vulnerability or potential inaccuracies, just until we do our due diligence and really release one that I'm gonna say, this is right.
Yeah.
And I'll get back to you when I can say that, because I can't say it now. Just don't let those go out to everybody, because it's a challenge to try to explain when it is right, and it's impossible to explain when it's not right.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've all seen a lot of this data, we know, because, there's, go through this course, there's still $6,000 of breakfast at the Tiki Bar. We only know that didn't happen for last year. So there's a lot of,
Pancakes and pool.
so we know there's a lot of miscodings that went on in terms of how the system was programmed, and I still have questions as to, is prime rib, is that a member event night? Is that a regular dining night? I don't know. I think sometimes it was, sometimes it wasn't. I don't know if they've ever, because we kept on asking Vesta, which is why they never actually they never answered us.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll go through each one of the events with the chef, because like when you say prime rib night, to me, if we have other items on the menu and prime rib is just a special for the night, then it's not a member event. But if prime rib night is the only thing that we have, then I would say that's a member event for prime rib night. Kind of like the Fish Friday, which I can touch on that. It went as well as could be expected.
Okay.
As you know, we made some modifications from the previous month. So here's 2 or 3 things that we did. We changed the all-you-can-eat fish fry to a seafood special. That chef pulled together a really nice salmon dish. And we had 5 or 6 tables. You took away my fish fry, and where's fish fry? And it was just a little bit of explanation and conversation, because that night on Friday, in addition to the salmon special, and we did about 80 covers in the dining area, we had a private party of 30 in here, which kudos to Luciano, because we were short-staffed. So Luciano came in here and he was the waiter for the night for the table of 30. And then we had First Friday going on out there, which we changed from the a la carte menu to a tiki bar menu with the pizzas that had the 3 burgers and the missing pizza. Yeah. So all in all, definitely understaffed, definitely poor service levels. It was only everybody that was on our payroll was here and working. And to spread us out like that, it was a challenge. The kitchen did far better than the front of the house on Friday, and a lot of it is due to the 3 new employees that he had this week.
So my question for you is this: we've run into the situation where we have had multiple events that we have left our staff tight and everything else. Are you taking a look at future upcoming events to decide whether we need to cancel some of the things that are on the calendar so we're not so short-staffed, so we can have a good dining experience? Or are you gonna continue to run the way we're running right now? Okay, so you're gonna look into the future and say, you know what, we're just not gonna have this now because we don't have the staffing levels to be able to accommodate it. So we're not gonna have these 3 things happening on a Friday night.
Here's the good news, it's kind of ironic. We don't have anything like that in the future.
We don't,
Well,
okay,
nothing that compares to what happened 31 days ago.
okay.
That was day 2, and it was like.
Yeah, so we have already streamlined those evenings, so we're not gonna experience that again. I just wanna make sure.
Nothing like 31 days ago.
Okay,
We don't have anything on the agenda after Thanksgiving to get through 500 covers with 4 temp employees.
right.
We don't have anything on the calendar, do we, Chef? No. Nothing on the calendar that looks like that, but one of the things that we were able to establish in the last couple of weeks is I host a department head meeting every Wednesday at 2. So Matt, Kat, Chef, Luciano, and myself sit down with a calendar of events, and we talk through things that are potential issues. The onboarding of new employees is going to be very beneficial for us, but the coordination and the organization and the forethought, which is what we're looking at now, does that mean we're going to knock it out of the park for the next 3 months? I can tell you no. As a matter of fact, on a side note, I'm having a conversation Thursday morning with Hampton's upper level management about pulling back the reins on some social media advertising.
Okay.
Because we are just not at a point where I feel comfortable saying, hey, come and check us out. First impressions are so important, and the first impression that we give right now is not the first impression that I think we'll give in 3 months from now.
Because the media machine with Hampton is amazing.
It is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, and yeah, they're.
And that's the one thing, how many complaints have you had about communication in the last 2 months? Right, and that was, I read your surveys for the last few years,
Yeah.
and that was like 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
Top of the.
Negative responses was about the communication.
Yeah.
And it's funny just how when it just gets fixed and goes away, it just like filters into the background. I haven't heard one person say, how come I didn't know about this?
So since we're on that topic, a couple things that you and I have talked about are the member services
Mhm.
touch, if somebody has an inquiry about their bill or actually, getting the
Yeah.
bill. And then the second thing is the voicemails, because I think you worked with Ashley, right, to get the voicemail?
I did, and she's actually flying to town from Jacksonville. It'll probably be later this week. It's gonna have to be, because I have to go back to Colorado and I'm moving next week here. But I think Ashley is going to come in, but we did meet with, I think the name of the company is Sangoma or Sanjoma.
Okay.
And they went into the back office side of the phone tree that works at the reception desk, because one of the things Vesta left us with is no passcodes. So people didn't have access, and the phone tree wasn't set up to take calls, and then you push button 6, and it would go to a phone where there's no phone. One of the things that, as you saw, Justin dug through and found the Golf Now issue. Another issue that has come about is how many phones Vesta was paying for on a monthly basis, but how many phones we actually had. And I don't know the exact numbers, but I'll tell you, we were paying for more phones
Yeah.
than we actually have. Matt, for example, has a phone jack in his office that there's no phone. And the same thing with the internet jack in his office, the internet, and we think it's a Ethernet cable from the server to the wall that's not connected, and that's on John Coleman's agenda today to work with Steve Geiger
Saw him.
to get a hard line into Matt's office.
Oh, good.
So yes, I'm not gonna say that it's resolved, because it's not resolved, but
Okay.
we have access to the phones,
Okay.
we've cleared out missing voicemails. You can now push a button and somebody will ring in a phone and that person will answer. So we're making progress, but it's not completely resolved.
Did they find the to-go phone?
No, but I think the to-go phone is going to turn more into online ordering for a couple of reasons.
Right.
It's gonna eliminate the, I wanted this, or I ordered that, and I didn't get this, and I called in an hour ago when it was really 28 minutes ago. If it's all done electronically on Jonas, it's the person entering the information. It comes up with a timestamp on when the information came in, and there's no lost in translation between, because you guys know, and back touching on the billing issue, which is what you first opened, to me, that's turned into the biggest headache that we have.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, there are a number of people working hard to resolve this issue. And it's multiple servers, and I can give you a lot of answers, but IT, I'm not gonna go down that road. I can only tell you that it's a communication problem with servers and 2 different systems talking to each other. And it's being worked on and looked at very closely, because that is my number one source of challenge and frustration right now. And it's really what kicks the ball off with the gentleman I told you about on Friday.
Yeah.
Because on Wednesday, I was concerned for his health. He was trembling when he walked in. And we fixed the problem in 45 minutes, but it's just becoming such a sticking point.
So maybe the short question I'd have is, do you have an intention to have a body here who can, ask if, I have a question about my bill?
So I'm glad you prefaced that, because I haven't even talked to you about this one yet. I think we may have knocked it out the park with 2 experienced, seasoned, knowledgeable, polite, kind, caring ladies who are friends. They both work for different companies at different jobs. They're actually friends at the church that they go to. And I met and interviewed one of them and kind of explained the scenario. And I try to be as transparent and forward so they know what they're coming into on the first day. Because we have had a couple of employees that showed up for the first day and said,
Not for me.
not for me. So I've talked to the first lady, and at the end of our conversation, she goes, I have a friend who's the receptionist, and she runs QuickBooks, and she oversees a lot of the management things, and she works at a condominium for like a homeowners association board, and she pulls and holds everything together, and she's not happy with her job. And she's not treated well by her boss. Would you like to talk to her too, in case you don't hire me? So I said, yeah, absolutely, I'd like to talk to her. So then I came in and stayed late yesterday, and she came in on Sunday at 4:00, and we talked for an hour, hour and a half. Her name is Bobby. So I think the solution to the front desk and people that are tech savvy and can look into billing accounts and have coverage, because it's another strange thing is the front desk isn't Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Right, no, it's not.
And it's not even the same hours Monday through Friday.
Right.
Yeah,
And then the question is, we're closed Mondays and Tuesdays, but there's more people in here Monday and Tuesday.
doing non-food things, yeah.
Well, no, today, the last event is 80 people and it ends at 8 o'clock tonight. Today is Monday. So we will have coverage on Mondays and Tuesdays at the front desk. And then the same thing kind of with Saturdays or Sundays.
Yeah.
And now Sundays, this is something I think we can address, the hours of operation for the Tiki Bar on Sunday. Right now it goes till 7. And for 2 hours, there was just a guy in the kitchen and a guy at the Tiki Bar by themselves on property. The brunch ends at 2, and the brunch goes 9 to 2. And I almost think we should go 10 to 2 on the brunch, because between 9 and 10, I think there was 1 table. But there was 7 employees, because everybody, if you shave off an hour times 7 or
Yeah.
8, it adds up quick, especially when it's every week. But things to consider, and as from an operation perspective, I'm still trying to understand and navigate the waters. Can I change the hours of operation by talking to you and make that happen? But back to the reception question, I think it may be sooner than we all think, like before January 1st, that we have, I think it's gonna be in the season about 65 hours a week of coverage. If you do the unusual shorter days on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, longer days on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday will require 2 people, because if the first person comes in at 8:30, the second person will probably leave at 7. And then that person will also be the main point of contact for takeout food. So when you come in at the front desk, one of the things on my agenda with Jonas this week is to talk about a POS station and a credit card swipe at the front desk.
Nice.
So you can either put it on a member's account or pay with a credit card with someone who's sitting there with your food.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think that front desk is so important.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do too.
First impression and last impression.
Yeah, and then so they could also deal with a member inquiry if I say I have a,
Better than I'm gonna guess you've probably had ever at the front desk
okay,
when you meet these 2 ladies.
oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
I just hope they'll accept. They both were interested on the day I interviewed them, and what I always try to do when I interview people like that is I say, I want you to take a couple days, think about it,
Yeah.
and if you're really interested, call me back. So they're calling me back on Tuesday.
Yeah, good. So, Greg, one of the things you and I had talked about last week was you wanting some guidance on the Mother's House event.
Yes.
So, I don't know if you all have seen, I'm gonna take one. There you go, Ken. Do you want this, Greg?
I've read it, proofed it, and I'll take my own sense of ownership because I proofed it and
Okay.
said it was okay by me when I proofed the flyer.
So
but-
is this now a River Club sponsored event?
Well, do you want me to kick that off? The challenge here is in our master declaration, there's a fairly tight paragraph. Well, maybe I should say it the opposite way. The paragraph in the master declaration gives the River Club manager and owner fairly broad
Okay.
powers to address whether something that is of a political, religious, et cetera, especially fundraising item. And so the challenge here is, there has been an event schedule done here for years for this particular charity. I think the challenge, and I did talk to Andy about this, the challenge here is that it is perceived to be supported and driven by the River Club, which is not a good idea. So I think maybe before we deal with this one, we deal generally. I think when people come, they're going to do an event, I think it's important to know generally what it's for, because if it falls within one of those categories, especially if it's fundraising, I think it's something that you should think about, and if it needs to come to the board, it should come to us. For guidance to you, or certainly to me, and then I can share with the board or whoever's the chair, but.
So real quick, this was on the calendar before
Yes.
I or Kat started.
Many of the years.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's
We've
been
doing
this,
for years.
Yeah.
Good.
The venue has been hosting the event,
They have
not the
been.
River Club hosting it.
Got it.
The
The
venue.
challenge with this is we have the marketing machine of Hampton.
Right.
And the implication here, in fact, is that the River Club is providing complimentary hors d'oeuvres, which I don't know if that was the intention or not, but I would propose, based on this, Andy was extremely uncomfortable with the marketing material, that the way to handle this particular thing is to say, you can have it, but you're going to need to manage it yourself.
So on that point, you should know, and everybody should know, that the marketing material on this was suspended. So you won't see any communication. I'm not saying it had already gone out,
Yeah,
but after it went out, when I heard some pushback before we figured out what to do and how to handle it, there is no more marketing material
Yeah.
going out about this event.
why can't we just take Venetian River Club off of this and say at Venetian River Club?
well, here's,
Because this is what makes it look
Yeah,
like
who's
it's
hosting it?
well, it's.
Marina McCormick
right.
and our mother's house.
Here's the other question I would ask is, do we want to get into the business of anybody wanting, if I'm gonna have a private event and I'm fundraising for, Cat Shelters of America, I mean, should the River Club be in the business of promoting that? Or, if it's my private event, then I should be handling, who my guests are and how to market it.
Right, and everybody has access to the email list, right? Yeah, because we can all do that.
Yes.
Yeah, so ideally, we could have said, Marina, you do your own thing.
We
Put
did.
it at Venetian River Club. Don't do this, and send it out from her.
Yes,
Saying
100%.
we're having,
Absolutely.
we're having an
Agree.
event.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
It's a
Yes.
private event.
She should
Absolutely.
pay for the room.
Yeah, I mean, all that can be done. The room can be paid for.
Absolutely,
That can be covered by the entry fee.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that.
They held the last
1,000%.
one at the yacht club, and
Yeah.
I don't think the yacht club was a necessarily co-sponsor. I think it was just there.
Because the question is, where do so it's this one, and then the next person's gonna, well, you did it for Catholic charity through this. I want the
Right.
CDD and the Venetian Club to sponsor this event and
Right.
that event,
Yeah,
and
and
then,
I just think this needs to be clarified, and maybe they run it by somebody, one of us even, to say, is this clean enough that it doesn't, like, this to me says we're sponsoring. I want our
absolutely
logo
does,
off
yeah.
of here.
Yeah,
We're not
Um,
sponsoring it.
and-
We're
and
just
I guess-
providing a venue.
My next question is this our website?
Yeah.
Down at the bottom, because if it is, I think
Yeah.
we should read.
and Hampton Golf has to come off of it as well.
No, Hampton,
I would think Hampton Golf should come off of it as well, because it's not sponsored by Hampton Golf.
well,
Well,
it's their decision, but
yeah.
that's actually
But I
where it
guess-
is, that's where it was.
Oh, I
this
didn't
is
even
where it
see
was,
that
is it
down
still,
there.
That
is
came
it
off
still
of,
there?
it's on our calendar.
It's been pulled.
Everything's been pulled, so I wouldn't find this if I logged into the website.
Unless you went back to an old email.
Would you
Okay.
see it on the social calendar though? If you go to the social calendar, you're gonna see it there because you click on our social calendar
The event
To
is there, but
to reserve it.
is the flyer there? I don't think the flyer's there. I
But-
think it.
Well, the
It
event should
shouldn't
be.
even reserve through ours, the event
Right,
can be
that's my
there.
point.
No.
Thank you,
Exactly.
But the
Cheryl.
reservation should be
Thank you,
our
Cheryl.
mother's house,
Yes,
RSVP to our mother's house.
It's a fabulous graphic.
it is, it's
I
beautiful.
Yeah, I
support
really
the
like
charity, but I think we just have to remove ourselves from it. The event can be held here, but I think we have to extract ourselves from it. And if Hampton's okay sharing this beautiful graphic for her to use, I think but she's gonna have to do the RSVPs.
Yeah, which leads to another point, and maybe it's on your agenda to talk about today, is logos and things for committees, and I don't know if you're gonna talk about that today, but if you would like, why don't the five of you take a look at this flyer, mark it up with whatever you
Back to
want
you.
taken off, or whatever verbiage you want changed, and then I can put it back into queue for our marketing, and then we can continue the marketing, but in a.
I don't think we should.
We shouldn't even be doing the marketing. mean,
I
it's
don't
marketing.
think, I don't
shouldn't
think we
paying
should be
for it.
in it. I think it's the same as if I'm having,
You don't wanna advertise the event?
No.
In any way? Okay.
I don't think we should.
I don't think
Just
we should,
leave
it's
it
off
on
the
the
calendar.
calendar.
but-
She has access to our email list, so she can advertise it.
Okay,
And
perfect.
she can send it out to everybody and
Yes.
say, this is the
I
event.
mean, it's,
So what-
so next year, I mean, do I have a Hanukkah party sponsored by the club, and then somebody who's Muslim has a Kwanzaa party sponsored by the club,
Right,
and then,
You
Around
can do
chocolate.
it, just
and-
won't be
and-
sponsored by the club.
excuse me?
You can do it, it
No,
just
no,
won't be
that's what I'm
sponsored by
saying,
the club.
we have to, you go, if you do one, there's a slippery slope of where this goes, and next thing you know, the club is sponsoring
Well,
everything.
to
think
that
we all
point, what do we
agree.
do about the gift box? Is that okay to advertise for that, or is that different?
The Toys for
Yeah.
Tots. That is actually done as part of the ladies' luncheon through social and dining. And that is that event is pretty non-political, non-religious, and I
Yeah,
think that's why
I
we've
think
always
it's-
done that.
And it's the only one really like that.
Okay.
You know, we do.
Yeah, I
So-
support it like crazy.
Mhm.
I'm trying to figure out where that line is.
And it, and the challenge is, the Master Declaration does, give latitude, which is a challenge, but also
Sure.
an opportunity. And I think the point is gonna be consistency, so.
So the message we need to deliver to her is we're gonna host the event, but we're not gonna advertise for it?
No, she's gonna host
She's
it.
hosting it.
Well, I mean,
We're providing the
I
vessel.
say we host the event, like we're gonna open the door and let them come in and
Right.
have the event.
Yes.
We're-
Right.
We're not gonna support the event or contribute to the event or
No.
subsidize the event.
Correct.
or maintain the reservation list or anything like that, yeah.
Well, we do maintain a reservation
It's
list.
hard not to, the venue's here.
But,
We have a
but they
wedding,
should
we
be
have-
able to give
They
Greg
can
the
send
head
out,
count.
they can send out,
No.
well, that's what I mean.
We don't
I
keep
think they
people's
have to be
wedding
able
lists.
to
No,
just organize it.
No, we don't, with a ladies golf dinner, they don't do the RSVPs, we do.
right.
Yes, Greg.
No, but from our
No, 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 I'm
perspective,
not saying do the RSVP. I'm talking about,
so what,
Greg just
the
needs a
question is, are we gonna have the information in here? That, I think the staff needs it.
I think the staff needs a head count,
That's it.
and that's it,
yeah,
not names. Cindy's attending, Ken's attending, Cheryl's attending.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause
I don't think they
do
need that at
all-
all. We don't do that
No,
with the golf
For now,
events.
I do all the place
And
cards.
if they have outside guests,
Everything.
if they have outside guests, they should notify, give a list to the guard people,
So,
the guard
what do
checks.
we do
Greg
for
has
Twix?
something to contribute, we should let him.
what do
say.
we do for
We
Twitch?
haven't
to
done
do.
Twig in a couple of
We haven't
years.
done it.
Haven't done
No,
Stopped.
so
go.
because of all the different events that we have, we do have to maintain their reservation list, but from a point of contact. They're
Yes.
responsible because they change. A
Mhm.
wedding will go from 140 to 160, event will grow. So we have to maintain the reservation list so we
Yeah.
know what we have to be prepared for. But we don't have to manage that list for them, and we're not gonna be the point of contact for everybody from every party to call and change their reservation.
That's
number.
exactly right.
But a point of contact will modify and update and change reservations and provide information like seating cards and meal preferences and
Yes.
those kind of things. So from my perspective, when I say we do have to manage the reservations for those points of contact, it doesn't mean we're the point of contact for all of their guests.
Correct.
You just take the head count
We take the head counts
and
and
then
the
manage it from there.
choices
Yep,
and.
understood.
And,
Yeah,
and also,
and that's
and
fine.
also problem is like also if we're hosting it, it's got, make the check payable to one mother's house. Well, if somebody comes in and doesn't want to write the check, then we're responsible for making sure they don't come in. And
This is how Twig used
yeah,
to be run too,
if-
by the way. It was the same thing. You had to bring in a donation for Twig. It's just that Twig was non-political, non-religious, and so it was easier to sponsor. And I'm happy to help you talk to Marina. She and I.
I met her for the first time on Friday.
Oh, thank you, Sharon.
She was so nice.
Yeah, and
you know what?
I will give her a call and tell her what's happening.
Yeah, I just
so
don't
that
think we should be
can
sponsoring
do
anything
this.
because then the
Yeah.
onus is on us. And we're
Yeah,
responsible.
well, I agree.
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl.
And you know what
Thanks,
she
Cheryl.
approached me and talked to me about?
What?
Is wanting to know about the holiday fund for the staff.
Oh,
Ah, okay.
yep.
And so if you guys can help me with some direction on if that's being done, how it's being done, if I need to talk to Hampton payroll, just give me some lead in on that. I thought that was so nice of her. That was the
It's usually on our
first time.
December statement.
Yeah, it usually
Or you
comes
can
as a
opt
charge on the December statement and you can opt out of it.
So that's the kind of thing that I don't think the billing department at Hampton knew, that it usually is
Oh,
on your December.
okay.
We don't have a building department yet.
From, well, we
We're not getting
do.
billed.
We, no, you say that like tongue in cheek. You are getting bills. The bills are being set out. I can tell you, even in the accounts receivable department at Hampton, we've set up a test account. So when the billing department at Hampton sends out the bills, the test account is receiving the bills.
Got
So
it.
we know that
You
the
know
bills
that it
are
went-
going out.
Right,
So because some people are receiving them and some people aren't receiving them, doesn't mean we don't have a billing department. There is a whole army of people trying to get this figured out with
Yeah.
what's going on with the communication, the firewall, the servers.
Right.
The different things going back and forth. But there is a billing department the reason I know that is because they're incredibly responsive at resolving the issues. And they'll include emails saying, don't worry about it, I've updated your statement.
right. So, and then Cheryl has something sort of else that she wants to cover, but just quickly on Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
Years past, it's been, everybody got a charge for $15. You decide the allocation. I think one thing I talked to John about some time ago is, if somebody didn't want it, we can take it off, but there should be a communication that goes out.
And that should go out
to
on the
residents.
statement with the option then to opt in or opt out.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
I will talk to the people that
Okay.
send out the statements.
okay. Cool, Cheryl, go.
Just quickly, I didn't put this on the agenda because I didn't have this until like after the agenda went out. But we did the walkthrough on Laurel Road, very successful, took a really long time. But they are going to replace under warranty over 200 plants out there.
Awesome.
It actually added up, I was looking through my notes, like to $250. The issues of 250 plants, the issues we have are, we all agreed to hold off on replacing them because we have to fix the irrigation system. Our irrigation system is over 20 years old. It's got breaks. Luckily, they have a huge irrigation team and those guys have been out here very regularly trying to figure out what's going on. So we're gonna hold on that, but we do have some sod stuff that I would like to add to the agenda to fix the sod in areas along Laurel Road. That wasn't part of the original proposal, but it looks like crap.
It does.
And
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna
Yeah, the
fix parts
washout.
of it, but there are parts that they're gonna resod the areas that they can say, oh, well, we'll resod this. So we went through and we identified all the areas they're gonna resod. There are areas that they are not part of their job. And so I have proposals for that I would like to add to the agenda.
Remember too, that a lot of that irrigation that is not working out on Laurel Road
Right.
was destroyed by 3 hurricanes.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so it is hurricane related. A lot of the sod that's being replaced was also tore up through
Right.
those hurricanes as well. So it's not I think the funds are there to go after irrigation. And so that, since I got irrigation things, so let me,
The irrigation thing, Keith is gonna talk about in his field manager report, but we have some big irrigation issues that we just told them, don't replant anything, wait, because we have to fix it. And one of them is an electrical line that Keith is gonna ask for a not to exceed number, because we need to find an electrician from the Medici berm all the way down to the
Yeah.
box. That line needs replaced. That line is scary. So, those are the things, no, the underground
underground.
electrical line that
Oh.
runs the irrigation system.
it's out in front of one of the homes on Medici.
Okay.
And it runs down between the 2 homes and then it goes out to the berm and makes a right and goes down to the control box that controls quite a bit of that area out there. Now that line was only, when they put it in, they only put it in a few feet down when it should have been put down quite a ways. And it wasn't put in conduit, which made it even worse.
You wouldn't believe what they uncovered when they looked in there.
So I had one gentleman out and it's 320 feet of electrical. And it wasn't even the line that they used wasn't heavy enough to carry the exact voltage that it needed to get to run all of it.
Sounds like a good electrician.
So, well, he came in and said, Keith, this job is too big for me. He said, I'm just one guy.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get somebody that can get and dig it out there, go between the homes, and, we gotta tell both homeowners, put a conduit in and do it right. And I said, well, what do you think price-wise on this? He said, it's gonna be 5,000 north. And I went, okay, so that's, we'll talk about, not to exceed
Yeah, okay.
10,000.
Yes, we can get it done.
Because I think.
Have
we
you,
need a-
have you reached out to Synergy? Because they did the light poles.
Oh, that's
in
true.
the- in the-
You're
in the-
right.
in the,
No, I haven't read it,
they-
but
they
I,
might- They might be an option. I'm
Do
just-
you have anything
Good
else?
idea.
Because I'm thinking, do we need a 2-minute break before we start, or everybody good?
I think a 2-minute break is always good.
I think so
But
too.
that's fine. I'll just add this to the agenda, if that's okay.
Yeah, we got a number of things, so
Yeah.
here's my added to the, so that's gonna be Sodom.
He'll do electrical, so really it's just sidewalk. So Cheryl, is that sidewalk will include stuff that's along the sidewalk, so we don't have washouts from the mulch? Yes. Okay. Yeah, and it's, what I want to do and what we talked about is just replace that whole side line.